So Idiots for Underdogs, the charity was, again, I know we've talked about this, but there's new people tuning in all the time. It was started with the idea that, man, what if we could take the holiday break-ins? This is an idea that's probably 15 to 20 years old, and we're only in year 22, it will be, of the holiday break-ins this year, where we sneak into people's houses and leave behind things to help them get through the holiday season and hopefully give them the traction into the next year. We've helped pay for rent. We've paid for cemetery plots. We've paid for propane. We've had multiple cars.
Yeah, numerous car
construction, everything.
Yeah.
roofs and drywall fixes and windows and doors and things like that.
A lot of things.
And so for Idiots for Underdogs, we've done some stuff so far, but we're just getting started, I feel like. So again, the funding for that comes from donations, but mostly from proceeds from people who sign up to be fancy idiots at freebeerandhotwings.com. So here's the letter that came in. Actually, from quite a number of people.
Yeah, a collective.
There were so many, we said, can we get one? And absolutely no problem. Good morning, Free Beer and Hot Wings. This letter is written by a community of followers for the Free Beer and Hot Wings show. We're from everywhere you're heard, and we identify as a family, our online community and in-person community. We're writing to ask for help for a sweet lady and her 10-year-old son. She's one of our family members, if so to speak. It's having an incredible bad streak of luck, and it's a very long one. Stephanie, not her real name, is in need of a helping hand, one more than we can provide ourselves. We've helped as much as possible here and there, but it has only been a Band-Aid in relation to what she needs. She is not aware that we are asking for help from Idiots for Underdogs. Stephanie took 4 years off of work to help care for her father in his declining health. She and her son lived with dad and stepmother during that time. She wasn't compensated other than housing and food, but she did it for love, provided all of the daily care for her dad, and took him to all of his doctor appointments and all the other things that come up along the way. This past winter, unfortunately, her father succumbed to his illness. Along with dealing with the grief of losing her father, Stephanie's stepmother immediately kicked her and her son out of the home.
Oh, my God.
That's some cold stuff.
Yeah, sure is.
Now you're grieving and homeless?
Homeless.
And bear in mind, for 4 months, you've been done out of love, but an unpaid medical care worker.
No, 4 years.
4 years, yeah, not 4 months.
Yeah, 4 years. Gave up her life.
Stephanie took 4 years off to help her dad, like we said. She spent a couple of months in her car searching for work until she finally found a friend that allowed them to stay with her. After doing so, she was able to secure employment at a hospital as a nurse's aide. On the day she was supposed to start, her car gave out. She powered through that and found transportation in the way of a borrowed handicap van and is doing very well with her new job. The car's been sitting in a Wendy's parking lot since that day. She thinks the brakes and the rotor need to be replaced. There's a radiator issue, and it caused it to fail. It's a 2008 car with 240-plus thousand miles.
Okay, yeah.
The friend she was living with told her last month she could no longer stay with them. She's now living in the borrowed van that could be taken away at any time because that person may need it back. One of the saddest parts of this is that while she's been living in the van, no other place to go, she cannot have her son for the shared custody she has been granted.
Yeah.
That breaks our hearts. Just a second. We as her family are asking for help for Idiots for Underdogs. Help us bring this mother and son back together on a normal basis as it should be, and give her the helping hand and that traction we all talk about when it comes to Idiots for Underdogs. Love a group of idiots. Any help would be great. Okay.
That's a good one. That's
How is it? It's not the first time I read it. Why does it? It's something about saying it out loud. Will you throw me those, please, if you can reach them?
Yeah. The
Good
fact
throw, mate.
that she took care of her dad in his dying years while also having to work in order to do that. You know, she's a nurse, so she knows how to take care of somebody. And then after that is just put out on the streets and then has to hand her kid over to in a fine situation where he can go and live with his dad. But what a defeating and deflating feeling.
Plus the grief. And
On top of grieving, now you've got to worry. And then your car dies on you.
just getting kicked.
Oh my
Kicked and kicked
God,
and
the
kicked.
universe is
doing
just,
all
For years.
doing all the right things.
Yeah. We gotta turn that around. I feel like the universe is working against her, and
Well, this is someone who is doing fine
yeah,
Mhm.
before and then sacrificed, and then the world gave her and her son double fingers. It feels
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
not
Yeah.
intentionally, obviously. I mean,
Well, I mean, stepmother.
we
yes,
don't know
intentionally.
why the stepmother, but boy, that is not.
It's pretty
doesn't
cold,
seem
though.
like a very loving thing for someone who helped you take care of your husband, her father.
Mhm.
yeah, and we all grieve differently. You know, she could be angry, and
So
things
in
happen.
in doing some research, one of the problems she has is when you don't work for 4 years and all that stuff. She was working, but she wasn't working at a job. Your credit rating is not great.
Yeah.
And so
No,
finding
no.
a place,
Bills
even with the
default
income
and
coming
everything
in,
else.
most rental places, they'd run a credit report and they get scared off.
They also want to see rental history, and if
Yes,
you've been
you
living
don't
with
have
a
one.
family member and you don't have one, it just all works against you.
Mhm.
Being a single parent is not easy, and all of this is just making it so incredibly difficult.
Yes.
So what Idiots for Underdogs is going to do, but it's going to come with an ask. We're going to do it. Idiots for Underdogs is going to do it no matter what. So Stephanie's going to get a check, hopefully hand delivered, for $10,000.
Yes.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
We're going to get that. We're not doing it, but mom and son are going to get back together. I don't want to make it seem like, oh, we're here. We're not.
Mhm.
They're going to get back together. Now, what I'm hoping is there's somebody listening, and she happens to live in West Michigan, who has a place that they rent, and they're looking for a renter. She's going to be able to pay the rent.
Mm-hmm.
We'll
Yeah.
backstop that for a while. Heck with the $10,000.
Right.
I don't know what she'll need it for. And then, man, if somebody could fix up that car, or you got a great deal on a used car that we could look into and maybe up it a little bit,
Yeah.
we're interested in exploring all opportunities. But we're going to start with a donation
Mhm.
of $10,000.
That's life changing.
Yeah.
We hope so.
That's huge. Yeah. Hopefully, hopefully we can get her in a nice place, get a car on the road so she's not borrowing anything or anything like that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Get a good jump start here.
Thank you, idiots.
It's thank you, absolutely. It's what Hot Wings and I, and then Steve when he joined us, and Kelly and Maitland, and everybody who's been with us along the way, interns, coworkers, listeners who have volunteered and helped with the holiday break-ins. It's the exact. We've always said it's not a mission statement because we never wrote it down, but it's to help the people who have done everything as best they can, the right way possible. And then life just gives them a bag of lemons.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
stuff that's not their fault. They're often the first to help others. We've never laid out this is our criteria like in writing or anything. It just sort of grew that way.
No.
And we've had lots of examples of that. I can't think of one that was more perfectly fit into what we've always said than this.
Mm-hmm.
Gave of herself selflessly,
Mm-hmm.
if you can say it that way.
Yeah.
And then
It's true. And then
is Delta Blow that's in. I can't imagine how difficult that is to fall asleep every night in your car knowing it's your day for custody and that even what little you have is not yours and it could be taken away all because you did the right thing for 4 years.
Yeah. And situationally, you're not a person that is going to get help from other avenues.
Once she gets some traction. Yeah, sorry.
No, traction.
Traction. Still traction. You
No,
keep saying
yes, I
traffic.
said traffic. Is what I meant. With her job, she's going to be fine. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Okay. We do have a volunteer to cut the stepmother's brake lines.
No,
Okay,
no,
not-
you
not
can't
really.
do that.
Do that for real.
Yeah, no, we handle brake line cutting internally. Thank you, though.
Yes.
We'll handle that one.